Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Oh, don't get blood on the floor. Oh, dang it. Yep, check. No amputations. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, dying. No dying. On the news. Nope, didn't get on the news. Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. This is, I don't know what we would call this video. An apology video, an explanation video, a warning video, one of those. So, what you just saw is one of my Ag Shop t-shirts. So, yeah, we actually do have t-shirts that have the shop rules on them. So, as you go back and look, our t-shirts say shop rules on the front. And they have some great phrases like don't get blood on the floor, no amputations, no dying, and don't do anything that gets us on the news. So these have been my shop rules for quite a while. So there used to just be 3. I added the 4th one a number of years ago, but it's kind of a change in mindset that I've got, which is going beyond something like safety first or think first. I created a list of rules to make people think. And those rules, they really apply to everyone, including myself. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened and kind of why I'm shooting a video on shop safety. So earlier this week, or actually it was last week, I broke rule number 1. As you can see right there, yep, I got blood on the floor. With this one here, doggone if we didn't come close. The good thing is I can now officially take that off the list. But there was a chance that this Band-Aid here might have actually turned into an amputation of the tip of my finger. So yeah, I mean, my shop rules are really for everyone. So I'll talk a little bit about what happened in a few minutes, but really I wanted this to kind of serve as a reminder for all of us when we're working with equipment, whether we are professionals, whether we're amateurs, whether we're working in our own shop spaces, our garages, or on the factory floor. Accidents happen. This is, and it doesn't look that bad now because I've really kind of shrunk the size of the Band-Aid, but this was a pretty serious injury where I could have in fact lost the tip of my finger. Had it been a powered piece of equipment, I could have lost my whole hand. Now, as a professional, I've been a shop teacher for about the last 10 years. But before that, I was a manufacturer. I worked in CNC manufacturing. And I worked with a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of dangerous equipment. And this is the first time that I've really gotten myself good enough with a piece of equipment that I did need to make an ER visit. It happens. So first one in 18 years is good for that. Now, it's not saying I haven't had other injuries. When you deal with heavy things and twisting and lifting, yeah, I've had back injuries in the past. And, gosh, none of those are on purpose. None of workers getting injured is on purpose. That's why we call them workplace accidents, not workplace purposely maiming yourself. It's an accident. It's a lack of attention, a temporary lack of attention, disobeying one of your safety rules. Gosh, it can be for anything. Just being in a hurry, being tired, feeling ill. Any of those can lead to you injuring yourself with a piece of equipment that you've used a lot. And this is one of those pieces of equipment that it doesn't look dangerous. And it's not powered equipment, it's hand-powered equipment. And I still managed to hurt myself on it. So let's go out and take a look at that. So walk with me. Well, this is it. This is the piece of equipment that got me. This is a sheet metal roller, and it's designed for turning pieces of sheet metal into round tube shapes or cones. And I was using this with some students, and we were rolling some metal. I was instructing them on how to use it. This is a hand crank model. So you do crank this, and it rolls the rollers forward. Now, what happened is I was working with my students. I was standing on this side over here, and I had a student operating the crank, and one of the pieces of metal slid out of adjustment. So without thinking, I reached my hand around the back, and the crank kept turning, and I lost sight of where my fingers were, and this pinky got sucked into that back set of rollers. What happened is there's an impingement right here. So there's no one at the hand crank, so I'm not going to get injured there. But my finger got sucked into these rollers, and as you can see, there's not enough room for your finger to go in. And my finger went in there because of a lack of attention. I got distracted momentarily, and this finger got sucked in and turned from a circle to a triangle. Let me tell you, having your finger sucked in that way is not comfortable. And again, it was an accident. You know, it was something where I lost momentary attention to what I was doing. It can happen to anybody. I hate to say it, but I'm really, really glad that it was me and not a student, because I would have felt really, really bad if that had been a student. So, you know, going forward, we've got new rules. You know, no one touching the crank handle while metal's being adjusted. Better yet, we want it to be a one-person operated machine, because you can't reach the crank handle and touch the steel at the same time. It's too far away. So we're moving forward, and a lot of my students learned a very, very, very valuable lesson. And I learned a very valuable lesson too. You know, it's to maintain that sense of attention and not being complacent with tools that don't look like they can hurt you, because they can. So yeah, that's what happened last week. So I got to spend my Monday evening of last week in the ER, and then I got to spend Halloween evening in the ER with a checkup on my finger. But really, as a shop teacher, I'm supposed to be training students how not to hurt themselves. And lo and behold, I hurt myself. But it happens. So anyway, moving forward, one of the things I just kind of wanted to bring back up is my shop rules. I know I've talked about them in the past. But these are the rules that we came up with. So here is don't get blood on the floor. And why do I say don't get blood on the floor? Is it because I'm concerned about cleaning it up? Yeah, but no. No, really it is, if we're working safely in the shop and we're following all the shop safety rules, our injuries that we receive, like this little tiny nick here, which are expected. You know, you're going to get splinters, you're going to get small cuts, but if you're working safely, you're not going to get an injury that's bad enough to bleed where you're going to get blood on the floor. No amputations. I almost violated that one. Making sure that our hands are free of our saws, our impingements, our pinch points, things that could take our finger off. And you know, even like plasma cutters will do that. Plasma cutters don't burn you. It's the skin that was there is just no longer there. So no amputations. No dying. Gosh, I've had people come close. And generally those were like electrically involved, or there was an incident once with a car lift, and these were at other schools. But yeah, you know, nobody wants to become a ghost and be stuck at work for their life or the rest of their afterlife, if you believe in ghosts. And especially as a teacher, I don't want any of my students to die. You really get any of these. And lastly, this is when you're messing around and you do stuff that's really, really dumb. And horseplay will get you on the news, or some really stupid injury that you did when you're not paying attention. But that's kind of my rules. And the reason I put them that way is I can use those as a way to warn my students. When I see some student that's about to do something where they're going to injure themselves, I can holler across the shop, "Hey, don't get blood on my floor." And that's a reminder for them to stop and look what they're doing and see what it is that I see that they're about to do that might injure them. No amputations, making sure that we've got our thumbs, which are like the first thing we like to cut off on saws. Chop saws, band saws, table saws. They love thumbs. Making sure we've got those out of the way. When we're working with electricity or hazardous materials, making sure we're not dying. We handle things with a sense of caution. And then leave the horseplay for the playground, not bring it into the shop. We're not running, we're not chasing, we're not throwing stuff. So those are the 4 shop rules, but I figured it was about time for me to do a good reminder of that since I got a good reminder of it. And yeah, I do get to keep my pinky. It's going to have a pretty sweet scar, but at least my pinky is still there. The bone wasn't crushed. It was just the flesh that was starting to be removed in a very, very painful manner. So anyway, I thought I'd give you a little update. And as always, I hope you learned something. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.